Hello dear fans, friends and subscribers. Welcome to the Cricket Happening Show with your host Ram today. And on this Cricket Happening Show, it's going to be two previews. One is the T20 series which is going to be starting it's going to be a one-off match I reckon. It's going to be New Zealand South Africa, which is going to be playing a T20 match at Eden Park in Auckland, and so I'll be previewing this first T20 match which is coming up, and then we also go to Australia, where Sri Lankans are on a very short tour, a whistle-stop tour of Australia, where they're going to play three T20 matches, and first of the T20 starts shortly. So basically. So they are going to, and also, as you know, the Australians are a second string side led by Aaron Finch, because with their mainstream side doing duty in India. And in fact, today they will be starting their first tour of India, where they are going to be playing their first tour game today against the Board President's 11, I reckon. And so this is what it is. So basically, I'm going to do the review. So these are the main things on the agenda today. So let's have a look at the South Africa New Zealand. Now, South Africa New Zealand series, T20 series, which is coming up, is really going to be something which is going to be very interesting, because I think it's going to be one of the exciting series that is going to happen, because both are at good strength. New Zealand are having the home advantage. South Africa are coming on a good base, I would say. They beat Sri Lanka in the T20 series, and they are also looking pretty good. And overall, if you see, both the teams are looking evenly matched, and it would be a very nice battle. And Eden Park in Auckland is something, the memories are not good for the South Africans, because they were thrown out of the World Cup with that Grant Elliott 6 of Dale Steyn, as you would remember. But if you look at the team, both those players are not there. There's no Dale Steyn in the team because of the injury, or probably is rested. And as far as New Zealand are concerned, Grant Elliott has already retired. So basically, so that is a psychological pressure is out from the South Africans, I would say here. And let's have a look at the New Zealand team. The New Zealand team comprises Kane Williamson as the captain, and as you know, he's someone who is doing a good job. Now Glenn Phillips is a new entrant into the New Zealand team, and talking about Glenn Phillips, a lot has been talked about him, that he scored very quick runs in the Super Smash T20 tournament, and he was the highest scorer as well. So Glenn Phillips is someone. They say that he is looking like a Brendan McCullum when he actually came at an young age. When Brendan McCullum came into cricket at a very young age, or probably played for New Zealand there, they are actually comparing him to a very, very aggressive Brendan McCullum when he was playing for in their domestic tournament. So basically, Glenn Phillips is someone, they say he has a very good hand-eye body coordination, and he looks to be someone in the mold of Brendan McCullum. So, and New Zealand are not wasting any time here. They are unveiling him right away. They are unleashing him on the South Africans, and definitely it would be a challenge for Glenn Phillips. But nevertheless, Glenn Phillips seems to be a very, very aggressive player. It will be interesting to see. Colin Munro comes in at one drop. He has been dropped for the one-day internationals, as you know. But Colin Munro is the one in this T20 who will be coming in as one drop. And then they have Tom Bruce, who played against Bangladesh and also looked a pretty picture. Corey Anderson is the other all-rounder. So they have a lot of all-rounders in this mix, I would say. Corey Anderson. Then they have Colin D. Granholm, who did very well against Pakistan as well. And Corey Anderson, Colin D. Granholm. Luke Ronke is back as the wicket-keeper. Mitchell Santner is another one who is can be termed as a very good all-rounder with his left arm spin to boot. Ben Wheeler is a very good left arm bowler, and then the swing twins, I would say Tim Southee and Trent Boult, will be manning the pace department. So New Zealand are looking pretty good here, and also they are enjoying their home advantage, no doubt about it. As far as the South Africans are concerned, they are having a problem. So there is no David Miller after the finger injury he picked up, so that is not good news for South Africa. And South Africa, well, they have Hashim Amla and Quinton de Kock, who are in some nice nick, I would say, both Hashim Amla and Quinton de Kock. And then they have A.B. de Villiers, who is back into the South African mix. He came against Sri Lanka, as you would remember, and immediately got into business. So he's someone who is always puts a very heavy price on his wicket, no doubt about it. Du Plessis is the one who is going to be captaining the side. J.P. Duminy, who has really found his lost confidence back. So it's a newfound confidence in the batting of Duminy. David Miller is going to be definitely missed, no doubt about it. And then Chris Morris is there, who is a very, very useful all-rounder. And Wayne Parnell can also be expected to bat, but predominantly bowls, and is a different bowler now, Wayne Parnell. And Andy Felukavayo also has the ability to bowl in an economical manner. Kagiso Rabada is the one who would be leading the pace pack. But Imran Tahir has shown that he bowls a few bad balls, and he looks to be a different bowler. He really troubled the Sri Lankans, as you would remember. So Imran Tahir would be closely watched, no doubt about it. And the weather forecast is not so good. It's not looking, but probably the ball could really swing, according to me. So that is what it is. And the two teams have played 14 T20s in the past in their history, and where South Africa are the ones who are leading it. They have won 10 T20s, and 4 T20s has been. Also, let me tell you one important statistics. Glenn Phillips is going to be playing for New Zealand. He has not even, he actually represents Auckland. He has played a Super Smash, but he has not even played a single first-class game for his team Auckland. And before that, he is making his debut. Now, this is something which is becoming a very, very common feature as far as international cricket is concerned. The other day, when the Aussies actually unraveled Sam Hazlitt in the Chappell Hadley Trophy ODI series, as you would remember. So, and Glenn Phillips is just 20 years of age, and is coming because of the absence of Martin Guptill. So, it should be a real beauty of a match which is coming up between New Zealand and South Africa. The T20, which is going to be played at Eden Park in Auckland. Now let's shift to Australia, where the Australians are, as I said, the Sri Lankans are on a whistle-stop tour of Australia, just going to play 3 T20 matches, and it's going to be played at the MCG's drop-in pitch, and it would be interesting to see as to how they go. So Australia, let's have a look at the Aussies. Now Aussies, they are not the full-strength team. It's a sort of a second-string team that Sri Lanka will be taking on. So Sri Lanka would fancy their chances, but as you know, Australians on their own soil are a very, very dangerous kettle of fish, I would say. And well, they are going to be led, but again, let me tell you, they are not short of talent at all. They have ounces of talent there if you look at the team. Aaron Finch is the captain who is going to be leading the team. So we all know about Aaron Finch as to what he can do with the bat. Michael Klinger. Now Michael Klinger is one I'm very happy to see. One knows that he's making his debut in international cricket at a very, very, if you look at it, at 36, he will be making his debut for the Aussies in T20 cricket. He has scored tons of runs in the Australian domestic season. If you look at it, combined till whatever time he has been playing for Australia, as far as domestic tourneys are concerned, he has amassed 22,163 runs. And I really feel it feels really refreshing. Michael Klinger also did well in the Big Bash League as well. So it's really interesting to see Michael Klinger back in the mix, and Aaron Finch and Michael Klinger will be opening the innings. Ben Dunk is another one who would be closely watched because he's another talent that Australia has. Because in the Big Bash League also he did a wonderful job. He really likes to taunt the ball a long way. Travis Head is there coming in at number 4, and Travis Head is someone who is slowly finding his stripes as far as Australian cricket is concerned, and he also scored his maiden ODI century, as you would remember, partnering David Warner. So Travis Head is also very, very aggressive now. I think he probably is having the license to play his strokes, because I think it's all the way better to see Travis Head play his natural game, because he really flows well and is particularly very, very strong square on the offside. Moises Henriquez had a very good Big Bash, so he's another very good solid all-rounder to have. Tim Payne would be doing the wicket-keeping duties. Aston Turner, who came and played his first Big Bash League this season, really showed that he could really turn the game on, whether it would be with bat or ball. James Faulkner is another all-rounder who can be always relied upon to actually deliver the goods if at all a situation comes about. Pat Cummins, as you know, he's with his pace, he's bowling a very good line nowadays. Andrew Tye is another one would be closely looked at. He's a pace bowler, and then they have Adam Zampa, the right arm leggy. So definitely Australia, even though they are looking like a second string team, has a lot of talent in their ranks, and I think they would seriously test the Sri Lankans. As far as Sri Lankans are concerned, Sri Lankans look to be very strong, but they are definitely missing the kingpin of the team, and there is none other than the captain Angelo Matthews, and that's a big blow for them. So Upul Taranga will lead the side, and Upul Taranga has shown that he can be a good leader, and also besides he can also make the bat do the talking as he opens with Niroshan Dickwala. Now one thing that one has seen in Niroshan Dickwala, it's a good thing to happen for Sri Lanka, that Niroshan Dickwala looks to be a very, very aggressive opener. I mean, he has an aggressive mindset, and what he does is that he rattles off runs in the power play overs to put the pressure on the opposition. So Niroshan Dickwala and Upul Taranga will open the batting for the Sri Lankans. Dilshan Munawira is back, so Dilshan Munawira has come back into the Sri Lankan team. He's also a very good player. And then Asela Gunaratne increasingly showing what an asset he can be to the team, contributing in all departments of the game. Milinda Sriwardena, I'm very happy to see Milinda Sriwardena return, because I was really wondering as to why Milinda Sriwardena was out of the Sri Lankan mix, because I feel he's a very good talent, Milinda Sriwardena. He has shown some early promise, and I think it should be better to for Sriwardena to be given as many chances as possible, because he really looks to be a very good talent in the making. Chamara Kapugadra, who is the veteran for Sri Lanka, and Sekuge Prasanna. This was the missing factor when the Sri Lankans were against South Africa, and I definitely mentioned that on my Twitter as well, that Sekuge Prasanna, I just can't even fathom as to why Sekuge Prasanna was left out. But I'm very happy to see Sekuge Prasanna, because the one thing that Sekuge Prasanna can do is that he can hit the long boundaries, and besides if at all the equation comes to an extent where you require the runs are more than the balls, then Sekuge Prasanna can be expected to deliver the goods. And let me tell you, when he swings the bat, it's a very powerful swing of the bat. He can send the ball really miles, I would say, with his big hitting, and he has some broad shoulders as well, and nice flowing arms, I would say. Nuwan Kulashekara, the bowling would be in the hands of Lasith Malinga. Lasith Malinga, as you know, in the first two games, did a wonderful turn when he knocked off the stumps of Peter Short, but here definitely it would be a different ball game altogether. But Lasith Malinga would be back, so he is coming on with some confidence here. Nuwan Kulashekara is another experienced bowler who will be operating in tandem with Lasith Malinga. And then they have Visru Udhana, who is a good T20 bowler. and Vikram Sanjaya, who also did a fine turn when in the first match, that is in the tour match, where he did a pretty good job. Now, as far as Finch is actually proceeding towards a record, he's just 2 games away for having the most international appearances in T20s. David Hussey is the one who holds the record. But the most important is that Finch, if Finch can get 26 runs to reach 1,000 in T20 internationals, he would be the second fastest after the Indian captain Virat Kohli to reach such a landmark. So Aaron Finch as a captain definitely in this T20 series would definitely be getting to that record, unless Aaron Finch has a real horror series. One can safely say that Aaron Finch is definitely going to get to the record of 1,000 runs and become the second fastest after Virat Kohli. So definitely, so all in all, and as I said, Sri Lanka are also crippled, but only with one batsman, Angelo Matthews. But one thing that Australians definitely not having their full strength side, it's a second string side, but I can very safely say that this Australian second string side packs a lot of talent in their ranks. So one can't take them lightly, especially the home advantage is something that Australia will enjoy. So okay, so that is as far as these 2 matches which are coming up, and I'll be talking about these matches as a cricket summary tomorrow when I come on my cricket broadcast. But before that, just before I go, just a brief peek at some cricket news here. Now, Marlon Samuels from the West Indies, who was banned from bowling, has finally, the off-spinners action has been cleared. So that is something which will give them a boost. So Marlon Samuels can now bowl. He already is a batsman, but he can also bowl. So that is good news. Zimbabwe versus Afghanistan. The first ODI was played today within Afghanistan, but the rain was the one which played the spoil sport, and that really turned the match into a Duckworth-Lewis method decision. And on the Duckworth-Lewis method, it was Afghanistan who prevailed, as Afghanistan won, and Asghar Stanikzai actually scoring a half century. The Pakistan Super League, it was Lahore actually going on to a victory over the Karachi. So that is as far as Pakistan Super League. Other than that, there's nothing else to really talk about, dear fans and subscribers. Hope you all enjoyed this cricket broadcast of mine today. Thanks for your continued company. And that's about it as far as today is concerned, with more to come tomorrow on my next cricket broadcast. It's good night from here.